Find functional hilarity at the Biffa Emporium. Girl, it's what I heard. Allegedly, it's just the word. Allegedly, it's on the street. Allegedly, I sing to the beat. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly.
All right, here we go with part 2. So at the beginning of part 2, she sadly loses her child, but she says this was a blessing in disguise, and I believe her. So in the midst of her miscarriage, he's up for the promotion to VP. So he needs to go to a meeting for this promomo and was going to have his sister take her to the hospital, and she's like, no, it should be you. I don't know that heifer. So he tells his new personal assistant, David, hey, if you get a text from my lady, let me know. My fiance. Where's the ring? Wait, he texted your mama and your aunt to not bother you for a week? Red flag. So, part 7, she's recovered and he wants to look for a house again. No! She said, I want to be involved this time in your own demise. I guess you do. So now she finds a $700,000 house in Smyrna. But you knew he was lying. Where was the spirit of the audio diary? You're going in your prayer closet to take notes on this man, but you're going to try to get a free house out his ass again. Stuck on stupid. Now he putting in all cash. Okay, it's a lot of stupid. So she got everything going through her email. So they submitted an all cash offer. He signed the offer, she watched him, and he sent it. So she's like, I saw. Now this is part 8, a clarification video. I had to put it on 1.75 speed. He was born in Philadelphia with lion ways. On the playground is where he spent most of his days. Then moved to Augusta for high school. And then college in San Diego State. And stayed out in California, played arena football out there, but his family was back on the East Coast. Then she go where the other family members are, Baltimore, Philly. Wait, you didn't tell the proposal story because it's embarrassing. I think going back after that first house foolishness is embarrassing. But he gave her 3 ring choices at the mall. It wasn't a romantic proposal at all. This relationship doesn't seem romantic at all. It was about houses and rings and things, not love. Just merge. So, while she was pregnant, he slammed the ring down on the kitchen table and said, open it. And he said, all right, so this means you're going to be my wife. Girl, I haven't heard any romance or interesting. You ain't talking about this man being good in bed or nothing. You needed a roommate. And he needed somebody to buy his bull. This relationship always seemed utilitarian. All right, so now part 8, we've submitted an offer on the house. So the offer wasn't accepted and we don't know why. 'Cause there's no money. Oh, it was because he didn't want to finish the basement. So now they find a third home that even she thinks is too big. So he's going from $750,000 to $900,000. Why? Why? Y'all probably could have qualified, gotten an FHA and been okay. So it's now fall of 2020. She told him she wasn't getting the $900,000 house. You got approved for $750,000. Let's stay there. But top of budge. What do you think about this bullshit? Why you turn and look at me when I look at you, and then I look at you and you do this? So now he would call you every day from work. He wore dark pants and a polo shirt with the company logo on it. I mean, a VP could wear that. We've seen investors wear that, like Cecil in that photograph promoting Kids Horse, that $24,000 polo shirt. So it sounds like a uniform, but no suit and tie as a VP. Well, maybe he was one of those of the people VPs. He collected a lot of Invicta watches, always had fresh Jordans and baseball caps, because he didn't like the shape of his head. But he says, well, I have to walk the condiment floor. You still sound like a shift manager, but so you don't want to get, the ketchup or the mustard all over yourself. Okay. Did he ever come home with ketchup or mustard all over himself? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, now they have another home fall through because of the septic tank. Oh, God, okay. So now we've got to stop talking about houses and start talking about the cars in part 9. 10 more to go. So she was driving a 2012 Nissan Rogue. It was in good condition, but she was upside down on the car. He was driving a 2018 Ford Taurus as a VP, but he's supposed to be getting a company car. So they looked at Ranges and Jags. See, all y'all did was shop and bop. I don't hear love. So he decided on a Beamer. Oh God, the company's gonna wire the money. So he goes through all this. Let me get the price of the car, send it to the office. And before he can get it done, the person that can do the wire went home for the day. So he wanted to get her a new car because she was pregnant and she wanted a Kia Telluride, and those are nice. He had her test drive an X5. So she falls for the X5, of course. She had fallen in love with a dark blue with a cognac interior. See, it's just, you jump from Kia to Beamer, but from Beamer to Bull. You still in that Rogue? But then he has a look at an Audi. Part 10. He's met her family. He told the whole family he getting her a car. Oh, so this car is going to be paid from the offshore money. So he asks if he can pay a holding fee while he's getting his money from overseas, because with COVID, it's going to take even longer. So he calls his financial advisor, who doesn't exist, Irk. So then he says, okay, the money's sent, the car going to be delivered to the house. She said, I don't want the car delivered to the house in Clayton County because, you know, the hood. So the car's supposed to show up between 1 and 3, and she called him because it ain't come. So then she said, well, let me handle it, and he gets defensive. Oh, the car's stuck on a truck in Spartanburg. So then she was in the kitchen laughing because she's like, I don't even know what I believe no more. But the rent getting paid. So she said, don't even worry about it. I'm going to get a car on my own. So she thinks he like just disappointing her. I could see it. I mean, he's a nut. Part 11, his family background. But what's real and what's Memorex? So she met one brother that did live in Augusta and FaceTime with the Baltimore brother. There's an older brother in Philly that she never talked to. So after his grandmother passed away, he started talking to his brother every day while they're getting ready for work. 30, 40 minutes a day. That's weird. Talk about football. So it's just like, you know, when your man's on the phone with his brother, except these were imaginary conversations. So the grandmother suddenly passed from COVID and he's distraught, but she'd been dead since 2015. He also used to invite her to a sister's house, but it never ended up working out. One time they were on the way, but he got a call and she had to cancel the queue. Who cancels a barbecue? But in-house dick will have you acting foolish. Then he had an uncle pass away from the Vivi too. So now with the ex-wife, he caught her cheating. In the heezy. Then the kids stay with him because they old enough to make their own choice. And we ain't leaving because you got hot in the puss. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. This is red flag it. Oh Lord, so now the ex-wife and the 2 kids did move to Georgia. So he ends up helping her get a Nissan Altima in part 13. He did pay the down payment for that. See, he ain't have to lie. He actually did have something to offer. So you knew you couldn't afford this note by yourself, so you stuck with him. You're addicted to things. Again, you just need a roommate. Y'all needed somebody in that 3rd bedroom to help with the funds. So she mad she ain't got a Beamer. She mad she ain't got a house. She's tired of looking for shit but not buying. So now she finds another $700,000 house. So now he puts in another offer. So the bank wants proof of funds, and he said, oh, well, let me know when you accept the offer and we'll give you proof of funds. And the bank says, proof first. So because it's an all-cash offer, they need those proof of funds. And then the real estate agent is like, you know what? I really should have had your proof of funds before I even let you look at a house. That was my bad. But now the guy's like, I'm not showing proof because you ain't got it. She's like, well, what about that Chase loan letter? But that's a loan and this was all cash. Well, where's the bank statement? So they lost that. So the house fell through because they wouldn't show proof. And they got dropped by their agent. Okay, part 14. Oh, this heifer took a day off for her birthday? Well, I guess I'm glad we getting all caught up today. I'm like, you can't leave me hanging after all this. I want to finish it. I know we got Beverly Hills tonight, but this is more interesting. So it's October 2020. This house is falling through. And she says, I don't want to look at another house or look at another car. Let's just get through the holidays and keep paying that rent. She said, I stayed in this situation because I didn't want to be alone. I get that. Being alone can be fun, but it can also be lonely and boring. It's not for everyone. And we're a community species, and I wish people were more forgiving of that. And she didn't want to prove everybody right because they'd been telling her he ain't shit. And number 3, I was ready to get married. A case of the spostas. So she was second guessing herself because she said also he might be telling the truth. Because he ain't never gonna tell the truth. So she's like, I've seen his checking account. He paying bills. I know what I've heard. I've seen the Chase documentate. What are you missing? You're missing something. Yeah, his money. So she didn't talk to her friends about it or her family because what happens at home stays at home. Girl, now sometimes you run some shit by somebody that love you. So then he come to her and he's like, look, I know I've been messing up, but what do I need to do to make it right? She said, well, I want to see the receipts. I want access to the money. Show me your accounts. So he shows a checking and a savings, but not the offshore or the U.S. bank. So she's quelled. She sees he's got money. They're going to look for houses in the new year. Part 15. But now they get to talking about marriage and religion. Conversations with a pigeon. So when they go to get the marriage license, she gets his social and does a background check. Nothing came back on the background check. She said, well, he's always been so fastidious about following the law because he's got a cop for a father. No, he checking your taillight because he don't want to get pulled over for an old warrant. So they had a small wedding, but COVID, so that makes sense. So they got married on the 5th, and by the 25th, she knew she was in deep doo-doo. Part 16, the interlude. Part 17, he now has a name, Legion. So he didn't have a problem with her job with the troopers before, but now he starts criticizing what she wears to work. So into January, he wants to start looking for a house again, and she over it. She said, you do it and use your realtor friend. So part 18, he's looking for homes in Alpharetta and Sandy Springs. Ooh, out with the housewives. So then he started coming home late because he was house hunting. So she let him know my lease is up and I'm moving to Cobb County. He, however, has started trying to have an issue with her female neighbor acting like he want him. So she's like, you know what, I'ma just scoot on. The weekend after her birthday, he gives her money to get her nails done. So he says some guy came by the house that you used to mess with, and she's like, who? I wasn't dating nobody. That's why I took you in. She said, was this a marshal from a credit card I didn't pay trying to sue me? This man's been paying your rent for the better part of a year. You should have taken care of that. But he said, I think it was your ex. Part 18. All right, we're almost getting to the halfway point. So then he didn't like that she got upset that somebody would drop by unannounced. After 2 years, she asked him what he looked like and his description get real generic. So she checks her security system to see if he's lying, and she sees that the door did open and shut within the same minute. So then she asks her neighbor to check her Ring camera to see if they've got footage of this car, because she ain't believing it. So the lady checks the camera and she says, I didn't see anything. So she wants to know, why'd you make that up? Because no one came to the house. Now we're at part 20. So her head knew nobody came, but her heart wanted to believe him. So now he gonna show her where the grandmama from COVID supposedly died. So he show her a fake grave with just one family name that looks like a plot. So then he starts telling her that they bought a new building downtown at his job, and that's where he keeps his company car. But wait, when did you get the company car? But he ain't gonna bring the company car home because it's Clayton County. So she calls his bluff and says, take me to your office. So he pulls his phone out and calls Willie, head of security. Make sure the building's open.
Alleged what? Alleged who? Allegedly, allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly.